feedback and response mechanisms. Feedback and response mechanisms are critical to project success and accountability. Effective mechanisms help teams collect feedback from community stakeholders, enabling project adaptation for improved effectiveness and responsiveness, respond appropriately to information requests, and identify stakeholder issues related to protection, exploitation, or fraud. Feedback and response mechanisms are two-way communication systems in which community stakeholders provide feedback and project teams respond accordingly. When designing mechanisms, teams consult with communities to identify their preferred means of feedback and response. Decisions should be made based on the local context, literacy considerations, cell phone coverage, and cultural communication norms. For example, communities can provide feedback through telephone hotlines, suggestion boxes, community meetings, SMS, or email addresses. Project teams then respond to this feedback via public bulletin boards, flyers, radio segments, or community meetings. Response mechanisms will also vary based on the type of feedback received. This ensures safe access and confidentiality for community members. It is helpful to design mechanisms based on what already works in the community. Seek out existing mechanisms to build upon if possible. Your project ideally includes a mixture of complementary feedback and response mechanisms in order to meet diverse community needs and solicit any confidential feedback. It is important that teams respond to all feedback received. Appropriate responses vary depending on the situation and range from simple acknowledgement to information that answers questions or an investigation into serious or sensitive complaints. Project teams should also communicate adaptations made to improve project implementation in response to feedback received. Consistently responding to feedback demonstrates the value the team places on it and builds and maintains community trust in the system. During meal system design, a feedback and response mechanism flowchart helps plan for effective implementation. The flowchart maps visually selected feedback and response mechanisms, staff and community roles and responsibilities, documentation of information, referral processes for sensitive or confidential feedback, and use of feedback along with other sources of meal data to inform decision-making and adaptive management. Feedback and response is essential to improving accountability to community members. Remember that sufficient human resources and budget are critical to implementing effective mechanisms.